Hey traders, Raghee here. I am stoked for the fall trading season. It's right around the corner. It's coming up on Tuesday. So let's talk about the big three things that are expected to happen in September. Number one, we're going to get more volume coming into the market as we're leaving probably the most difficult month of the year, which is August, and the most difficult 2 weeks of the year, which are the last 2 weeks of August. So volume's coming back. Number two, that means follow through is coming back. Now, follow through is already on its way since Jerome Powell opened the door to rate cuts in September at the meeting on the 17th. And that's the big number three. We're getting rate cuts on the 17th. That is more than 80% probable at this time. So those are three big factors that are going to make the month of September excellent. So let me walk you through the kind of setups we do in the Sector Secrets Mastery. This one is the NASDAQ, and I'll walk you through some very cool tools that we have available to members in the Mastery. I'll tell you how to get these for just $7 in just a moment. So first off, at 9:35, we start looking for day trades. Why 9:35? Because we want about 5 minutes of volume. We want the spreads to narrow. If you've ever put on a trade right at the open, you know how crazy that candle can be at the open. So we give it just 5 minutes. All right, then start looking for what the zones will be for setup. Now in this case, I've got the support of the hourly price movement range and the resistance of the hourly price movement range already plotted on the screen. Now, if I'm able to see price move into one of these levels, I'll look for opportunity. It could be to short. That happened right at the bell. So again, that's kind of a setup that is valid, but it happened very quickly. And you might think, well, do I chase this thing lower? Let me talk about what happens when you chase. If you're quick about the zone and you don't dilly-dally down in here, right? What you can then do is look at the opposite side of the range, which is exactly what we did, and buy calls in that area where the price action right here sinks into the hourly price movement range. Now, members of the Sector Secrets Mastery, and you can check out a trial for $7, get 30 days, and what you'll get, and this is just a sample of what you'll get. Of course, you're going to get my alerts. You're going to get 2 1-hour sessions every day from 9:20 to 10:30. We day trade like this, and then from 10:35 to about 11:30, we look for swing trades, and then we're done. I've taken all my trading and I've compressed it into 2 hours because we have this kind of automation. I'll show you a swing setup that we're going to be looking at on Tuesday, so stick around. I'm going to walk you through that as well. So on Thursday, we bought this NASDAQ as it sunk down into the range. Members of the Sector Secrets Mastery get the indices, so the NASDAQ, the Russell, the Dow, and the S&P, as well as the IWM, DIA, QQQ, and SPY hourly price movement ranges. So we saw price sink into this area. We bought calls, and the rest was history. By having automated levels, we're confident about where, in this case, think about how many momentum traders just kept shorting right into this only to get caught up in what was just a rip higher, right? And that was a move that took us clear up to 23,800. We bought QQQ calls right in that automated area. And that's what we'll look at in all sorts of symbols. Now, of course, you can continue to use the hourly price movement ranges throughout the day, but I really like to compress my day trading to that really powerful first hour of the day. Hourly price movement ranges are volatility zones that allow you to see where support and resistance are based on historical volatility and time. And that's really an edge that most traders won't see. Most traders won't see why this low stopped, right? There's no support level necessarily here, but when the hourly price movement range is popping up, this green zone, we know exactly what to do. A, don't keep shorting, not that we were, and B, look for a long setup. That's exactly what we did just yesterday. All right, now I mentioned there's a swing trade that's on my radar. So after 10:30, after what's known as the initial balance or the first hour of the day, we'll start looking at different longer term time frames like the 1 hour and like the daily. Now, this is a setup that I'm going to be looking for on Tuesday. What we do at the beginning of the week, this week it'll be Tuesday coming up, we set up a watch list. I give everybody an individual watch list for the particular symbols and sectors that I'm looking at for that week. It's most effectively done on a Monday, or in this case, Tuesday of next week. And what we do is we narrow the field down. We're not looking for headlines. We're not looking for rumors. We're not playing earnings. What we're doing is looking for high probability names that have the best chance of follow through, ideally after a slight pullback. So if a trend is moving higher and it stalls and sinks a little bit, the chances are it's going to continue in the direction that it was going. So in this case, we're going to use another tool that we make available to Sector Secrets Mastery members, and that is the DARVIS. This is automating support and resistance. And what this is doing is sinking into the lower eighth of the range. So come Tuesday, I'm going to be looking to buy calls in TJ Maxx inside that range. So price has to sink into that level, and in that momentary bearishness within the context of an overall uptrend, I'm going to look to buy calls. TJ Maxx is part of the consumer discretionary sector. And if you're wondering, Rog, what are the strong sectors this week? I mean, everyone's talking about NVIDIA and semiconductors. Would you believe those are not the strong sectors? In order, and I'm going to take a look at the list that I sent out members. It's gold miners, home builders, metals and mining, airlines, regional banks, and consumer discretionary. We gave honorable mention to solar and healthcare. Now, who's looking at those? Most folks aren't. They're not looking at relative performance. They're not looking at what groups are in a rising tide. This is best done once a week. You can overdo a watch list. A lot of times traders will use watch lists that update every day. And then what you're really doing is chasing price action. You're not waiting for price action to come back down to you. So in this case, TJ Maxx is in an outperforming sector. It's an uptrend, therefore outperforming stock. And I'm going to look to buy that in this support zone. So while we're scanning, let me show you a couple other symbols that are on our watch list, therefore on our radar for setups. Another one is Home Depot. You can see it's a very similar setup. It's using the DARVIS. We've got an uptrend you can see down here at the bottom of the chart, and I'll be looking for price to sink down into that lower eighth of the DARVIS because of the uptrend, because of the fact that Home Depot is in the ITB, which is an outperforming sector. We'll look for a setup there. Now, if you're more of a fan of Lowe's, Lowe's is doing something very, very similar. I'll show you the setup on Lowe's here. Now, in the case of Lowe's, what we have is not only the support of the DARVIS, this yellow line here, but we also have the support of the daily price movement range. So you might remember we just talked about the hourly price movement range for day trading, the way we did with the NASDAQ. Well, there's another zone that I look at when I'm swing trading. It's the daily price movement range. It's, again, a historical look based on, in this case, the day of the week, at where those zones of support could be. So this is going to mesh pretty nicely with not only a volatility area, but also a price-based support area. And in that pullback, I will look to buy calls. If you're looking for automation, if you're looking for a watch list, if you're looking for symbols that are most likely to follow through, and if you're looking for some indicators, maybe you're still struggling to find those indicators that are automated and working for you, come check out what we're doing at the Mastery. You can get a trial for $7 at sectorsecrets.com. And let me mention a few things that are included. The hourly price movement ranges for indices, like the one that I showed you on the NASDAQ, NQ, ES, YM, and the RTY are included to members. And if you check out the trial, you can see how those work out. We also have the tops layout. So if you're wondering, yeah, Rog, that automated support resistance is pretty darn cool. We make that available. It's the DARVIS 2.0. We make that available to members. So there's a layout that you get on day one of the Mastery that has these indicators and a whole lot more. Indicators to help you identify momentum and trend, indicators to help you find automated support and resistance levels, as well as my color-coded candles to understand whether or not a symbol is truly bullish, neutral, or bearish. I'm looking forward to trading September. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the room. Come check out what we're doing. Have an amazing weekend. I hope everyone has some time away from the screens planned. And in the meantime, September's right around the corner. Better volume, better participation, and rate cuts. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. I answer them personally. And thanks for watching. Smash that thumbs up button, and I'll see you next week. Hey traders, Raghee from Simpler Trading. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like and a comment below. And remember, subscribe and click the bell icon so you'll get notified of the next update. And when you're ready to join me for live trading, be sure to head on over to simplertrading.com. I'll see you in the next update.